Hey there, gang. Time for another comic book unboxing video. I have this short box of comic books here that I need to grade so that they can be sold on eBay, but I have no idea what is actually in this box. I'm not the one who picked these books to be sold on eBay. I'm just a guy who slaps the grade on them. So it'll be a surprise for you. What we find, it'll be a surprise for me. So if you like comic books, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghalla. My name is Duke, and this is a grading, not a grading video. What am I saying? I've done a grading video for a while. Maybe it's time. This is actually an unboxing video, as I've already told you. I don't know what my problem is. Anyway, we're going to jump right into this. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment away, do all of the groovy things. And this is another inventory box. So this is a box of stuff that, we get a collection. It comes into our warehouse in Freeport, Maine. It gets parsed out into different sales streams. Some things go to CGC. They get graded and encapsulated in those. We mostly sell on a third-party site called comiclink.com. Some stuff goes in our retail store, which is called .com Comics in Freeport, Maine. And it's called .com Comics because most of our sales are online. They're on eBay. Search for the seller .com Comics and you'll find all of our lovely books, all the books we're about to look at. But they get sorted into either multi-book lots or into what we call raw singles. And these are books that we're about to look at that were initially put into the multi-book stream and we're really backed up. Frankly, you've seen the warehouse. Here's a picture of it now. And so, the stuff has sat there. Some boxes have been there for a couple of years. And so one of the owners recently went through some of those boxes to see if there was anything that, in the time they've been sitting there, maybe they've become worthy of single status. A book that we think could get $10 all by itself doesn't need other books in the lot to kind of boost it up to that level. So we're going to look through what we have here, what the owner picked. He has given me full authorization to reject anything that I don't think will hit the $10 mark. So anytime you get to tell the boss no, that's a good time. So let's see what we've got here. So Marvel Comics Presents. This was Marvel's weekly comic book series, available only in comic book stores at a time when that was kind of a rarity. Not completely unheard of at this time, but still, not the norm. But this is something that I would not have picked myself, but apparently these Weapon X issues from the early 70s of this run, early 70s number-wise, not 1970s. This series was 80s and 90s. But these have really taken off, and I think that's largely because of the key collector guys. All these little money-hungry dudes online on the YouTube telling each other how hot this book is and how great that book is and what a fantastic investment it is. And so everybody's been buying up this book and it's driving the price up, even though, only a couple of years ago, this was a nothing burger. But anyway, thanks to them, we're going to try and sell that as a single. Fightin' Five, that is a nice Charlton book. And one of the things that the owner found in inventory, and he actually found two of them, was the issue of the Fighting Five that has the first appearance of the Peacemaker, which is hot right now. That's like $1,000 book. When we put that into that box, 2 or 3 years ago, it was probably a $5 book. So that was good. And this is good. This is a nice. Charltons tend to be low grade, but that's still it's probably a 5-ish, 5.5 maybe. Here's an actual issue of the Peacemaker. That should do well. Of course, it's number 2. Peacemaker number 2. You can see a little tiny number right there. Oh, Civil War. I don't think this is... I'm not going to kick this out just yet. I'm going to have to look it up and see what it sells for on eBay. This is one of those things where the price guide may say that it's a $10 or $15 book, and the key collector dudes will tell you it's a $30 book. But if you look at eBay, it's probably like a $3 book. Unless there's something different. This could be an alternate cover for all I know. This one looks like an alternate cover. But not all alternate covers are created equal. So I don't know. We got quite a bit of the run. This actually might be worth, if they're not, if not all of the books go for that much, might be worth setting this as a fixed price item on eBay. Doing the complete run as one lot. Oh, I was hoping that I would get through this box quicker than the last one. That last video ran for quite a while because I got a little chatty. And, well, here's one we have to stop and talk about. Because if you're not familiar with this is absolutely not just because of the Bat character, but this is literally actually batshit crazy. So some of the story you may know. You might know all of it, but I'm going to tell it anyway. There's this fella named Myron Fass, and Myron was a big believer in jumping on copyrights. And Captain Marvel, Fawcett, which published the original Captain Marvel, the character you may know as Shazam, had got out of the comic book business in part because of the downturn in sales in the early to mid 50s, in part because of the big scare, that comic books caused juvenile delinquency, and there was this giant uproar and big comic book bonfires nationwide, and so they got out of it, and also because of the lawsuit. DC had Fawcett in court for years, claiming that Captain Marvel, Shazam, was an infringement on their copyright for Superman. I think that was bogus. I think those are two completely different characters with nothing more in common other than the fact that, well, not even that they wore their underwear on the outside, because Shazam didn't. But anyway, so the character went away. And so Myron jumped on the, he couldn't revive the actual character, but he jumped on the name because he figured, kids, even though at this time the theory was that the comic book readership completely turned over every 3 to 5 years, he figured there would be enough name recognition in the marketplace for, that title, Captain Marvel. Maybe the younger kids might remember their older brothers and sisters having read Captain Marvel comic books, and so they'd want to try something that was called Captain Marvel. And so this Captain Marvel, if you're familiar with a Legion of Superheroes character called Arm Fall Off Boy, that's what this is. He was an android, completely ditched the original Captain Marvel. This one was an android who, the original would say Shazam and get superpowers. He would say split, and that's literally what would happen. Parts of his body would fly off. When he said split, boom, off went that fist, off popped his head, legs, arms, buttocks, what have you. It's just crazy. And I think this only lasted 4 or 5 issues. And then, first chance it got, DC licensed the original Captain Marvel, and then eventually bought him outright and brought him back. And by that time, though, Marvel had seen the light, and they created their own Captain Marvel, pretty much just to lock in that name, because they didn't want DC or some other company putting out, a Captain Marvel comic book when they are Marvel Comics. They should have the Captain Marvel. So anyway, this character features the villain, the Bat. There was also a later issue of this. What issue is this? I'm not sure what issue number this is, but there is an issue. Like I said, this only lasted about 4 or 5 issues, and there's one that featured a Plastic Man. So Myron Fass was all about jumping on those names where he could. All right, moving on. Tales of Suspense, number 68. Oh, no, excuse me, 86. Sorry, I'm so dyslexic, I can't even say dyslexic. Dyslexia. And these bags are awful. They're all stuck together, all gummy. These are I can tell right now, these are gonna be a pain in the ass to get to. Luckily there's just one piece of tape there, but I see how they're all puckered. That, by the way, speaking of dyslexia, this we have learned recently. This kind of puckering here is called cockling. That is what CGC is calling that type of. On comic books, when there's water or moisture damage that causes that wrinkling, their labels, they're calling that cockling now. But anyway, I know that when I go to open this book, once I get the tape off, look, you can tell it's so stuck together. I'm going to have to cut this bag open because it'll be nearly impossible to try and get that, to get the flap apart, to get the book out. Literally, it can take you all day just to debag a collection of comic books, a small collection. Tales to Astonish 101. Was that the last issue? I forget. I think Hulk started at 102. Is that right? You'd think I would know that right off the top of my head, wouldn't you? There's that same issue. Here's the Spectre. The last box we saw, issue 1. This is issue 4 with a great Neil Adams cover. Very nice. Marvel feature featuring Red Sonja. We rejected a Red Sonja from the last box for single status, but this is the Marvel feature series. That should maybe still do okay. Some great artwork by is this Bruno or Thorne? I think this is actually Thorne. Marvel Premiere featuring Doctor Strange, master of the mystic arts. Giant-sized Man-Thing. Who does not love a giant-sized Man-Thing? And fighting the Glob. So it's muck versus mud. Here's some more giant-sized Man-Thing. Ghost Rider. We had a lot of early Ghost Riders in that last box, and here are some more. There's a popular issue of Fantastic Four, number 73, with Daredevil, Thor, and Spider-Man. Oh, look, another one. Nice. Doctor Strange, still the master of the mystic arts, but this time in his own magazine. Strange Tales, of course, became Doctor Strange when Nick Fury got his own book, and they split up Strange Tales. Only lasted till 178, 9, 7, I forget, as Doctor Strange. And then he, after a short time in limbo, came back in Marvel Feature, and then graduated from Marvel Feature into his own book again with a new number 1. There's 171, 177. I guess it lasted longer than I thought as Doctor Strange. Oh, that's right, because I was fixated on 170s because Strange Tales would get revived and pick up the original numbering, sort of ignoring the fact that Strange Tales had continued its numbering as Doctor Strange. They brought the title back in the 70s, continuing the numbering from where Strange Tales had left off, and those are the issues that feature Adam Warlock and the first appearances of Gamora and whatnot. Anyway, this is where Doctor Strange wasn't selling that well, and so they decided to try and make him more of a superhero character. So they put him in a full face mask and changed his costume slightly, and that had absolutely no impact on sales. So, nice try, swing and a miss. Here's the Demon. It's a later issue, 16. Is that the last one? How far did this go? 16, 18 issues. Jack Kirby. Now, this one can confuse you. You might look it up under Morbius. You might look it up under, L for Living Vampire. You might even look it up under A for Adventure into Fear. But the actual title of this book, the official title in the indicia, is just Fear. This was originally a reprint book, reprinting the old 1950s Marvel monster things. Yeah, but they turned it into a book with some new stuff. It was an issue of Fear that featured the first appearance of Howard the Duck, and then it became a Morbius book for a few issues. Rima the Jungle Girl, and that should do okay. Nice first issue. First appearance of Firelord in Thor, number 225, as Avengers 101. Dazzler, number 1, which was, that was like a dollar book for a lot of years, just because it had been ordered so heavily. This was released only to comic book stores, which is kind of weird because it was a newsstand book from number 2 on. But initially, this first issue was released only to comic book stores, which was a rarity and oddity at that time. Matter of fact, I think this might have been Marvel's first direct sales only title. Not sure. But anyway, there's another one. Because it was so heavily ordered and so lightly purchased, you could hardly throw a brick into any collection without hitting about 5 of these. But anyway, it's starting to take off again, and that's a pretty dependable $10 or $15 book now. There's The Death of Barry Allen. Don't worry, he got better. Here's The Death of Supergirl. Don't worry, she got better. Some Crisis on Infinite Earths action. Here's number 1. Very nice. Batman and the Outsiders #1. Now that might not get to $10, but I'm putting that through, by golly, as a single, just because I feel like it should be. I love this series by Mike W. Barr with the Jim Aparo art. I bought this right off the stands as a kid, and I loved it. I loved that series. And they've revived it a few times, but they just have never been able to quite match just the specialness of that initial series. Here's Batman Year One, number 404, very popular book. Number 405, 406. These are newsstand copies. That might give them a little bit of an extra boost, sales-wise. Mighty Thor 338. That's the second appearance of Beta Ray Bill. Here's another one. What If #1? Always a good book. What If #2? What if the Hulk had the brain of Bruce Banner? And they would eventually do that. It's surprising how many what if stories eventually would become just regular mainstream Marvel continuity. What if the Avengers had never been? Well, maybe not that one. What if the invaders had stayed together after World War II? What if Captain America hadn't vanished during World War II? What if the Fantastic Four had different superpowers? What if someone else besides Spider-Man had been bitten by that radioactive spider? Oh my goodness. Now, I think is it the next one? No, it's number 10 is what if Jane Foster had the power of Thor? And that's a big issue. Here's Star Wars number 8. And this is, was it 7 or 8? I think the first 6 issues adapted the original Star Wars movie, with the first 2 issues actually coming out before the movie. And then from that, they launched into a kind of a Han Solo tale with Jackson the Thunder Bunny. And this is what sort of broke my heart, is that when the next Star Wars movie came out, I was expecting to see some Jackson. And that's when it became evident to me that these licensed comic books like this, based on properties from movies and television, basically you got to think of them as kind of Elseworld stories, multiversal stories, because what will happen is the next movie will come out and it completely invalidates everything you've been reading up to that point. So, what if the world knew Daredevil is blind? That's something they've done several times. What if the Avengers fought evil during the 50s? Well, they've actually they've had a couple series since then based on that very concept. Here is Walt Disney's Donald Duck and Trick or Treat. Is that Donald Duck or is that a 4-color? It's 1952. Huh. No, it can't. Yeah, no, it can't be 4-color. 26. That would have been way earlier than that. But still, that's nice. That would be nice to save for next year's, this year's, our next Halloween mystery box, assuming we do that again. Yeah. Walt Disney's, now this is a 4-color book, number 387. Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse in High Tibet. Walt Disney's Comics and Stories, 171. Is that what that says? And that's why I love opening these boxes, because again, you just never know. You never know what you're going to see. The Man Who Married Lois Lane. He looks like a cricket. Big giant space cricket. Here's the first part of that Han Solo story. Issue number 7. Here's 9. Here's Jackson. I love Jackson. I hope if they ever do another Star Wars movie. Or why can't they on Disney Plus do a Jackson series? I would lose my mind if that happened. I would even resubscribe to Disney Plus if they did a Jackson series. Here's number 10. Number 11. We're done with Han. We're back to Luke. Number 12. And as I understand it, some fans don't really like the Carmine Infantino art on Star Wars, but as I understand it, George Lucas was a fan of Carmine Infantino from the Silver Age and specifically requested him for the series. I'm not sure if that's true or not, or maybe it's something else I'm thinking of that Infantino did, and you're like, well, that's an odd choice. Actually, the first 6 issues, the adaptation of the movie, are actually by Howard Chaykin. And that's it. That's the end. Well, it's not the end of the box, but it is the end of this video. So come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, and we will finish off this bad boy. And until then, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.